right, happy Saturday. It's Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Today's show, we're going to have Derek from High Point Gamers here. He's strolling around here somewhere. All of the other folks are at different locations. Kevin's at the Pro Bowl. I'll be there a little bit later on this afternoon. Carlton is doing daddy duty. So it's just me and you today. But we might have some callers coming in. One of our guest callers is Kevin Evans. In between his negotiations that he's doing down at the Pro Bowl, he represents several different football players, baseball players, as well as recording artists that have publishing companies, things of that nature. So he'll be calling in, and we'll be interviewing him. All right, and now we switched up to the next mic, right in front of the camera. All right, reality radio where everyone is a star. So yeah, as I was saying, we'll have him. We'll also have reaching out to Paula Campbell to talk a little bit about her release coming out in March. So we waiting on that as well. But in the meantime, you know, let's go over a couple of things that's happening in the industry. I think one of the big stories I like is one of my associates told me about 2 days ago that Jay-Z and Meek Mill are collaborating together to raise a fund for $50 million for prison reform. Now that's hot right there. I mean, that's something that, you know, here at Power Moves and Sports and Entertainment Partners, we definitely want to get involved in that initiative. Van Jones is going to be the lead person on this initiative. And some of the money is coming from Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. You also have the owner of the Sixers. I believe his name is Ruben. And of course, you know, Jigga, Rock Nation. So, you know, stay tuned. You might see us here at Power Moves, you know, doing some things with them as well. Let's see what else is happening in the news. Let's check it. Just check it out. Check it out. Remember, if you want to call in, this is an open show today. The number to call in is 813-444-9588. Anything you want to ask me about entertainment, sports and entertainment, music, entertainment, comedy, it doesn't matter. Just holler at your boy. All right. Well, the good news is this may not be sports related, but hey, Cats is going back to work. The shutdown is over. You know, the shutdown is over. So, hey, it's about that time. It's good to see people, you know, getting some checks. They're going to get their payback. So, you know, that's what's up. Let's see. Go ahead. Right here? This is a Bluetooth headpiece. See, what I was going to do today is I have this software called Zoom. So I was thinking about sometimes if I could do the Zoom and then also have the Bluetooth headpiece act as a speaker, and then we can kind of, you know, show the video and things of that nature. But that's all I was So let me go into what's going on with my peoples out there in the industry. See what's going on. So oh, that's it. We had Synapse Conference. That's it. The Synapse Conference was off the chain. I'm talking about there was over 5,000 people at the Synapse Conference. And as a matter of fact, you know, the gentleman that spoke several weeks ago, Marcus Howard, and his company, Project MQ, did an awesome job of explaining blockchain, e-gaming, and what's going on, which is why one of our guests, Derek, is going to be coming in to talk a little bit about him and High Point Gamers. but they had a whole room of, I mean, standing room only, really getting into what's going to go on and what's the future of e-gaming and virtual sports. During that part of the conference, we also talked about the importance of the talent here at Tampa. It's incredible. So USF had held a panel talking about what can we do to make sure that we keep that talent here in Florida, in Tampa. So what they talked about was have companies partner up with the university. Yeah. So the best way to do that is by being a part of the board. So we talked about that several weeks ago, where if you want change within your community, you have to get involved. So the best way to get involved is by being a part of the board. So a part of different boards, whether it's a community board, whether it is the school board, if you want change there, well, you can be a part of the curriculum board at any university. And by doing that, you can affect change, because at a university level, they're teaching on a scholastic level. They're teaching basically, theory. But as a business owner, you're teaching facts, what's real. And so when you get involved, as a matter of fact, the person that was also involved in that panel was Vincent Jackson. We'll be having him on the show in a couple of weeks as well. And he graduated from USF Business School, actually.
Oh, he did?
He did. And so when, he sees the value of hiring within the School of Business and employing them within his different initiatives in the different schools. But as they were saying, when you're part of the curricular board, when they're creating different classes and when they're creating different majors, when you're part of that board, you can say, hey, you know what, you may want to include X, Y, and Z. And at that point, now it makes the university more relevant, because now they're more in tune with the business community. So it's a win for them. It's a win for the school, because now they're providing classes that's relevant. And then it's an obvious win for the student, because now the student gets the best of both worlds, because ultimately speaking, the school is looking to bring those students to become interns and then eventually employees for the company.
Get paid.
That's right. Get paid.
Everybody gets paid.
Everybody gets paid. And, the schools get, the grant money to get them going as well. All right. So
the Synapse conference, we kind of wanted to get to it, but we was bogged down here. What else happened at that conference that was relative?
You had several venture capitalists that was at the conference looking for new innovative businesses so that they can invest here in Tampa. There was a panel discussion in regards to that. People were affecting pitch decks, how to create a great elevator pitch, how to make sure that you know how to express what's the value of your business, what solution that your business is solving within the community or business community, and what are you going to do with that money?
How do you do an elevator pitch for a technology company? That seems like it would be a lot more difficult.
Not necessarily, because the basic thing that you need to do, a technology company is just a description of a business. It has nothing to do with what the venture capitalist is looking to invest in. So as an example, let's just use this radio station, right?
Okay.
And we're using this as a technology. Hold on one second. This is Kevin Evans on the line.
Okay, go ahead. So my thought.
Hello, Kevin. I'm doing great, man. How are you, brother?
Reality radio.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We will reschedule. Close those deals, brother. I know how that is, man. I know how that is. Well, I'm on the phone with my mentor Kevin Evans. He's in the mix of just doing deals. He's gonna have to call us back, but we will catch up at a later date. Kev, all right, man. All right, we'll do. Talk to you later. Bye. Yeah, you see, it's reality TV.
Yeah. Radio.
That's right. Radio. That's right. I'm on the TV. That's why I got caught up.
It's all good. we want them caught up.
That's right. So, as I was saying, when it comes down to, it doesn't matter what the type of company it is, whether it's technology, you just have to understand your business. The key thing is to understand, how are you going to acquire customers? How are you, how fast can you scale? What does scale mean? Meaning, how fast can you go from 1 to 100 to 1,000 to 10,000? Can you show that in a measurable type of way? And as long as you can do that, that's what makes you a good company. So it doesn't matter whether you're a technology company, it doesn't matter whether you're a donut shop, whether you are a flower shop. What matters is, number one, what problem are you solving that needs to be taken care of? Number two, what's that money going to do in the short term, and how's that's going to affect a positive change rather shortly? And then number three, what experience do you really have in showing how you can scale it up as soon as possible? So as long as you can show those three things in your elevator pitch within 2 minutes and be convincing, you have to be passionate about what you're doing, then I guarantee someone's going to definitely be looking to have a sit down with you, and then you go to the next step. On that note, we're going on our first break, Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect.
He taking care of state of Florida, grab a pen or sundown. 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361 Rick. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hey, this is Miss K with Kay's Kitchen, cooking Chicago-style fried chicken and fish with the authentic Chicago-style mild sauce. Come check us out at 5508 North 50th Street in Tampa. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 6, or you can call us at 813-368-5196. Again, that number is 813-368-5196. See you soon.
All right, we're back. Power Moves on In Touch Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. If you have any questions, feel free to call in 813-444-9588. In today's show, we got my man Derek from High Point Gamers in the place to be.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. So, a lot of folks are not that familiar with esports, but I think what I love about esports is that, if you may not necessarily be a dope athlete, but you could use your mind and your hand-eye coordination to to really kind of get things done and make a name for yourself, and hence your name, High Point Gamer. So how you come up with that name, and how you came up with that business model?
So I'm a gamer myself, right? But I grew up under the flag that gaming was a waste of time. So I joined the military, got out the military, got my degree in marketing. Spent about 10, 15 years in the corporate world. And then me and my partner Dion, we started putting on tournaments in the area, like 2K and Madden tournaments.
Right.
And in doing that, we started seeing that people were coming from California, DC, and stuff just to compete. And I realized like it's like that's people's livelihood. Like, that's what they do. You got dudes that save up their little $50 or whatever the entry fee, and might get a plane ticket for $1,000 or $5,000, and that's how they make a living, right?
Wow.
And with the research in that, I've realized it's an industry, man. It's not just gaming is a waste of time that I believed in, right? So I had a couple like star gamers come through, like old Larry, that actually ended up getting drafted by the NBA's 2K league. So I went up to the draft in New York to support him. And in that, I realized that there's a lot of young kids, man, that were getting drafted. Like out of 75,000, the NBA drafted 102 kids, where you're getting a salary for $32 grand for the season.
Wow.
You're getting housed, you're getting medical and dental, and access to all NBA facilities. But these kids don't know nothing but gaming. They don't know business. They don't know brand development. They don't know finance, food, nutrition. So I said, man, let me start a consulting group, man, to help these dudes be able to maximize their opportunity within the esports industry. And boom, High Point Gamer.
Wow. Okay, so now tell us a little bit about your story. You said you joined the military. Which branch of the military?
I was in the Army, man, for 8 years.
8 years. Enjoying them MREs, man?
Actually, I did, man. Hey, you talking about food in a cot and a paycheck, man? Like, thought I was living the life. Traveling the world. I was stationed over in Germany. At the time, I'll be honest with you, though, I didn't appreciate any of that stuff. To be honest, I was, before I joined the military, I was one of those dudes that, you know, in the hood, they tell you, hey, man, that's the white man's army and yada yada. So I joined it because I didn't have any other opportunity. Like, I didn't do good in school. I didn't have any type of game plan, but I know my parents weren't going to let me hang around there and use, you know, so I signed up and went, and it was definitely a blessing, man. It was totally a blessing to get me out of my neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
And actually see other things and learn how to work as a team and be on a team and play my position, etc. Responsibility and discipline.
Okay. So while you was in the military, you know, because you was a youngin', right? When you said you went right after high school. So were you was like the gamer on the base? Actually, I was, man. Like, cause
I'm an introvert, right? So a lot of my time is spent in isolation in most cases. So gaming allows me to do that, but keep my brain active at the same time. Right. I'm a thinker. So yeah, gaming was definitely, especially when getting deployed, that allowed me to get my brain off of, you know, you could die, you know, and you, at the time you don't realize that I want to play some video games, man, just at the end of the day. But it was definitely an escape for me.
Wow. So, all right, so you left the Army, boom, and then you started, you know, you worked for a company, and you went to school, so you took advantage of the GI Bill, right? And then, but where'd you go to school at?
So I went to the International Academy of Design.
Okay. That's dope. So, and so you got your degree, and then what happened next?
So I got my degree, and then it was coming up for me to get out of the military anyways. Like, my time was about up, or either I need to re-enlist. And I had a wife and 2 kids at the time, man. And 18 grand a year with a wife and 2 kids, that's not any money, man. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like the fact that Army felt like the Army was the most important thing in your life. Like, they don't care if you got kids and a wife. Like, we're your number one priority. Sure. And I wasn't on that, bro. Like, I was on, like, my wife and my kids. There's nothing that's going to come before them. even a job. So I was like, man, I got to get up out of here.
Okay. So you pivoted.
Yeah, so I did pivot, and it was scary in the beginning because in the military is just, I'm gonna tell you where to go. You know how much you're gonna get paid. You don't have to worry about where you're gonna live, where you're gonna eat, your health care, all that is taken care of. To now, you the man.
Yeah,
you got to figure it all out. And you got 3 other people sitting there looking at you like, what you doing?
What you doing?
Right.
What you doing? So then after that, you did your thing, and then you got into the business world. How did you go about doing that? Like, how did you market yourself for that position? Because it's hard to transition. A lot of times, I have associates that are Marines and Army, and it's a tough transition to go from that to the civilian world. So share with us how you made that power move to make that transition.
So the transition, the tough part is, it's tough, but it's tough to your advantage, meaning that because I was military, I used to getting up early. I was used to a certain type of grind. And if you're not in the military, no offense to anybody that's civilian, you don't have that grind. Like, the world is different. So when I stepped into the corporate world, my work ethic was already boom. It was banging, right? And one of the things that I had to do in order to enter that world was step out of my comfort zone, and I started joining Add to Tampa Bay. Shout out to Add to Tampa Bay, which is a marketing agency, like club for people that are in that world. And I was the only black dude in there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I walked in, I'm like, man, I ain't hanging around here because like, they're not gonna do anything for me with being within this group. But lo and behold, man, I made some good friendships where, hey, the people that are in industries, they got the ear to the street.
That's
and if
right.
they think you good and you make them look good by referring you, hey, that's what happened. And I got referred to this job as creative director. And boom, man, I got that. And within, I want to say 12 months,
right?
I had I asked for like 4 raises.
Wow.
Right. So I made dang on triple of what I got hired for within that. And I didn't know anything about money at that time. It was just about, I knew I needed more money at home. Like, I was getting paid good, but hey, wife and 2 kids, trying to have 2 cars, a house, and I'm like, hey, I need more money, man. I need more money. And they liked my work ethic, and they kept giving it to me. So that was definitely a blessing, man.
So as you have, was working in the creative industry, marketing, you had your passion for gaming. How did you change now from that to, or what happened after that?
So in the world of where I was in the software industry, right?
Okay.
So I was creative director, and I had about, I think I had a budget like $2 million a year on marketing to spend. So got the company up to like $15 million, where it was privately owned. And one day, dude was like, "Hey, I'm gonna sell this joint." And you come into work, and a new company that purchased us looked at me as just by job title. It was like, "Oh, we already got one of them," so we put him on a chopping block, to get out of here, not realizing that I was playing an integral part in the software development, in the market. Like, all that stuff was me. Right. It wasn't just, oh, I'm just title, which also taught me that when I get on the books, I need to be on the books by everything that I'm doing, not just job title, because all I was concerned about was a check.
So pause right there.
Okay.
Pause right there, because that's important. I want you to, because the way you said it is an easy gloss over.
Okay.
Right? So can you break it down even more specific on what you mean about your talent and making sure that you get paid for what you have on the books? Okay,
so if you look at job title wise, if you say creative director, and back then most instances, okay, that was the dude that was doing the graphics for us, and that's about it. And he was getting fed by a marketing director or a copyright person that was giving him the content. Which is a traditional layout. I didn't know that, because again, this is my first time in corporate world. I just know, hey,
it's a mission and get the job done.
Right. Right. Now, I wasn't looking at lanes. I was like, okay, I need to understand printing. I got to understand budget. I got to understand vendor management, and I also got to understand web design, because web design was becoming a new thing at that time, as well as C++, which is app development stuff. So I was just trying to learn to shine, and that was a mistake.
Right.
Because if the new company would have actually known everything that I was doing, then what I was getting paid, they were also looking at, hold up, this bro making 6 figures as a creator. Like, what's like, nah, bro. Like, we got somebody for 50 that's supposed to do what he does, not realizing I was doing all the other things, right? So if I were to go back, I would definitely make it on the books where if you looked up my name in the database, because again, I'm just like one of the only black people in the company and the youngest. So if you walk down the hall, you see me, you kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, I see he got his own office and got a window view over Tampa Bay and all that, but like, what's going on?
What is he doing?
Right.
He's wasting my money.
Right. Especially if you're from an outsider. So that definitely taught me to get on the books as something, and also it taught me that regardless of your work ethic and your contribution, you're never going to be the last man on the ship if it ain't your ship, like regardless. And that really showed me that, because bro, like I really believe that, like I grew up believing like, okay, if you do good and you hard work, like you don't have to worry about nothing. Like everything is supplied because you're doing your grind and what you're supposed to.
Yeah, psych. That's not reality, bro.
Not reality.
So just I'm gonna break it down even further. Okay. So what happens is, you know, a lot of listeners, or if you're watching this, I want to share with you the point that Derek is making is this: when you're at work, make sure you have your list of what you're supposed to do, right? Which is your job title,
right? But
in addition to that, if you're doing things in addition to your job title, understand what that specific role is. Make sure you list that as part of your skill set, and understand the value that brings to the table. Because now, in addition to your regular role, you know, you've learned these additional skills. So you want to write it down. And what's the value of that skill? You know, so as an example, you say you was creative director, but yet, you know, you were vendor management. What's the value of that skill?
Right.
And how many hours were you doing that for? Then, you know, the next thing that you did, you said you were website design, right? What is that skill? How many hours did you have to, you know, impart on that? And what would that take? And then you also talked about applications, you know, developing apps. That's another skill. So in other words, he had 4 jobs. He had like 4 jobs. But what happens is when you start listing that out, and then you start equating that to what you would normally get paid either per hour for your services, you start realizing that your value is much more. And now you can come to the table with your boss, or you can come to the table and say, when you are looking to build potentially a business, the different services that you can bring to the table, and now you can be full-fledged. So with that, you know, so what happened after, you know, so you got laid off because they were hating on you because you made too much money.
So I got laid off, but thank God that I was also doing stuff in the community. So because I understood marketing from a professional level and how the big dogs really did it, I could recognize in our community, I knew people that had businesses or want to do businesses, but they would never have the money to have a real me doing their stuff and have that look that a real corporate person look. So I was doing a lot of graphic design on the side and stuff in the hood for small businesses. Ended up being the editor-in-chief of Street Elements magazine, which is like a Don Diva. I'm sure you New York cats know what Don Diva magazine is back. Yeah. So it was like, it was like a Don Diva. And with that, photos need to be taken for the content. There ain't no hood photographers, bro, like that you can find. Like photography was an expensive craft back then, when I first started. So I had to pick up a camera to attend these concerts and events and interviews and start taking pictures myself. With that, I started learning photography. And with that, because there wasn't anyone else in the hood taking pictures, I became the one that people sought out for photography. So I opened up a photography studio, started doing graphics and stuff. And so that held me over and getting laid off. And that's what I ended up focusing on, was that world of still grinding and making money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been doing photography, and you've been steady, smooth with your stuff and grinding, and then you know, how did you decide to start doing the High Point Gamers? Like, when did that happen?
So with my partner Dion, we were talking one day because we always trying to figure out ways to like make extra income, especially once I learned that you can't depend on a 9-to-5 to get you rich or comfortable. And we said, hey, let's do Madden, man. Like, I know a lot of brothers that like Madden. Let's start putting on Madden tournaments. And so I'm one of those people that because I understand branding and marketing, I like to hit stuff like my stuff gonna look official when you come out the gate, right? Okay. So I need to get a name, LLC, processes documented and all that. And when we started doing the tournaments, again, we started seeing it's a thing, and which led me to do more research on the thing because I wanted to be official. Like I didn't want people to come to me like, oh, these just some brothers that got doing some tournaments or whatever. Like I wanted you to come to mine and be like, oh, he got the official rules. Oh, he got the official bracket set up. They're gonna send me an email blast, follow up the location of where the tournament is. And so with researching that, I started seeing that the gaming industry is a $138 billion industry. And
what? Like, what? Say that again.
$138 billion industry.
138 billion
with a B, brother. Right?
Woo.
And that blew my mind. But then I was embarrassed that it blew my mind because here I am. I'm a guy buying $60 games probably every other month because I am a gamer myself. Right.
Right.
So in doing that research, I realized, like, man, we get excited about the NFL and we line our kids up for the NFL, and it's only a $15 billion industry, but $138 billion. We like, I don't want to hear that, man. It's video game. There's nothing, you know. And that started making me do more research, and I realized there's not a lot of us doing it, but we're spending a lot of money in it.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's right. So, with that being said, now you have High Point Gamers. You know, what is your business? What's the business model? You know, how does that work?
Okay, so my current business model is esports consulting because esports is a booming industry. There's a lot of investors, especially from the professional sports side. Like a lot of these owners also have esports teams that they've invested in on the side, right? But we're talking about old guys that they have the bread, but they don't think about no video. They don't understand that that world.
They got their grandkids running that.
Right. So,
as a matter of fact, wasn't at Synapse conference, DeVos's grandson was there, right?
I was on the panel with him.
Yeah, so we definitely want to touch on that on the next break. We getting ready to go on a break right now? All right. So, so we getting ready to go on break. Power moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives, and High Point Gamers share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break. If you have any questions, call in 813-444-9588.
Boom.
Hey, this is Miss K with K's Kitchen, cooking Chicago-style fried chicken and fish with the authentic Chicago-style mild sauce. Come check us out at 5508 North 50th Street in Tampa. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 6, or you can call us at 813-368-5196. Again, that number is 813-368-5196. See you soon.
Hello, this is Angie Fox, founder of the Ash Wednesday Cigar Club. We meet every first Wednesday of the month at a Tampa Bay area cigar lounge. $20 per person includes a featured cigar, libation, appetizers, and a door prize ticket. Check out our list of upcoming events at ashwednesdaycigarclub.com.
My name is Gil Sampson. I didn't come from a very rich family, and so paying for college would have been very tough. I don't know if I would have been able to go to the college that I went to, and then I don't know if I would have gotten into the career that I am in. So I think Bright Futures has done a lot to shape my life. I got a job as a structural engineer, and I design residential buildings, commercial buildings all over the United States. Because of Bright Futures, I was able to go to college. You know, so many kids just don't even ever get that opportunity, and to be able to do it and not have any debt when I graduated is amazing, and it was all thanks to Bright Futures.
Florida has created more than 1 million jobs in only 5 years, and a great education connects our students to these exciting opportunities. That's why the Florida Lottery has funded Bright Futures scholarships to help over 725,000 students attend college. Because every play is for education. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
That's right. Power moves, baby. So we're back here with Derek from High Point Gamers. We were just talking about the Synapse Conference, which had over 5,000 attendees, 300 speakers, and he was one of those speakers. But before we go into that speaking event, share with us, with a $138 billion industry, and High Point Gamers is a consulting firm similar to like how a Price Waterhouse does consulting for businesses and industries, or an Accenture is the leading technology consultant for businesses. How does High Point Gamers help individuals who want to get into the gaming industry become profitable?
Okay, so there's three pillars that we touch on. We touch on the gamers, brands, and organizations.
All right, so gamers,
brands, and organizations.
All right.
So from the gamer side, most gamers don't. They just know how to game. They don't understand the actual money-making part of that can be associated with their gaming time. They're doing 22 hours a week playing video games, and they're trying to think of how to monetize that. Well, most of them aren't. Most of them because they enjoy it, so they don't care about making money. So the ones that go pro, we have a team of consultants that help them with their nutrition, physical fitness, financial advice, and the marketing and branding side of it, so that they can get sponsorships that allows them to make more money off of their opportunity. And so the benefit in working with us is that we understand and we have specialists in each of those areas. So it's not like a one-man show where it's all coming from me. Like I have life coach like Tony Gaskins that gives awesome and sound advice, especially from a business standpoint and a life structure standpoint. I have Marcus Watts, who is a nutrition specialist, vegan specialist on food, financial advisors as well, help you get your credit right, investing opportunities, etc. So that's a benefit for gamers because they don't need to think about that or really understand it, but we can provide the help and teach them along the way on how to do that, because a 32 grand check from the NBA 2K league, yeah, that's cool. But that season is only like 6 months long, and then you're done, right?
Right. I was wondering. So what happens next?
Right.
I mean, like you said, a $32,000 check. Granted, they have a financial advisor, they have a life coach, they have a nutritionist, and I'm trying to wrap my head about the nutritionist part. Like, why don't they need to eat? They need to be vegan or whatever. I don't get it.
So because of the stereotype of most gamers, like they play all night long. They probably sitting around drinking Mountain Dews and eating gummy bears, etc. So nutrition is not on their list of things to do. But,
all right, we got a caller. Hold on 1 second. All right, you're on the line. Power moves.
Hey, how's it going? I just want to say I'm enjoying the show. That's very informative about the e-gaming. My question would be, I see they're giving scholarships out for e-gaming also.
Yes, they are.
Is that something like how would you target? Not target. Like if you go to college for e-gaming, and like just straight out of high school, the individuals does your company give them scholarships or just strictly professional?
So you have several schools, man, that you have some opportunities. They just give you some money to come to their school, and some giving full rides to participate in their esports league, kind of like being a regular athlete going to school. So it depends on the organization, because what organizations have realized is that those individuals that play video games is actually the catalyst or the door, shall I speak, to technology. And those individuals usually go on to be coders, web developers, app developers, drone pilots, etc., because it goes hand in hand with what they learned in gaming. So a lot of colleges see the value in that, and they want to recruit talent like that to their school, as well as they recognize that because esports and the growth in it, they want to also start to make money off of that, having that type of franchise associated with their school, along with an NFL program, a football program or a basketball program.
Yeah, remember, it's $138 billion.
Yes.
Any more questions, brother? Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I mean, that's a valid point. I mean, because all the other sports like the NCAA tournament, the college not college World Series, but the BCS, things of that nature, they make tons of money and they're recruiting, those athletes, right? And they have those athletes with nutritionists.
Right.
They don't really have them with the financial advisors, because if they did, these kids would have got that money. Right. But they do have them with all the different coaches to make sure that they're prime and ready and branded for the professional level, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the NFL. So it sounds like to me that when you're working with these gamers, you're doing kind of like the same thing, is in that you are looking to brand them,
yes,
get them prepped,
get them
ready.
molded and prepped and ready. Because let's use the NBA's example of them starting up their gaming league. They started out interested in stats, like, okay, let me find the best person that's good at this game. But what they learned was the best person at the video game isn't necessarily the best person that's going to look good in front of the TV, that's going to be able to speak on the mic, etc. Like, you might get a kid that, no offense, but might be 300 pounds that has sat in his room his whole life, but he awesome on the game, but can't get on the camera and talk to anybody. That's not good from a brand standpoint for the NBA.
Okay.
So they had to kind of dial it back, and we realized that, okay, it's not just stats based. I got to have stats, and then I also have to have character. So in developing a gamer that covers those areas, you make you a prime target for organizations to pick you up, because that benefits them in the long run. Like, yeah, you might can be awesome, but we need somebody that's also going to get us some followers, get people to tune in and engage, and etc.
So they gotta be well rounded.
Yes.
Just like in school, I mean, you can be a straight A student, but then a Harvard is going to be like, okay, what else have you done? Have you done any extracurricular activities? Have you done any community work? So what's interesting with you mentioning this is, are there agents now in the esports arena?
I imagine they're popping up, to be honest with you, man, because when I was at the draft, I was literally the only person walking around that was with that mindset and frame. Like, no one was thinking about these dudes at all. So I was like, oh man, these dudes need agents. They need somebody to represent. But when you think from an agent standpoint that's used to working with NBA and NFL players, whether you're talking about checks of 13 mil or 10 mil or 3 mil, a 32 grand check ain't gonna make nobody move, especially you get your little 3% out of that, right?
Right.
So so I totally understood looking over the talent, but the value in these guys is gaming is garnering way more viewers than any traditional sport that we have. You're talking about like tuning in like 20 million people or 4 million people watching gaming on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, right? So that's a lot of brand exposure once you tie brands into that and recognize that for cheap, because these guys are excited. This is like to be like, I like the game, so you gonna give me some free stuff or pay me, like, I'm excited. So when I was walking around, like, there wasn't any agents, and I thought of jumping into the agent world, but the math wasn't there. Like, I couldn't make it make sense for my time as far as money goes. So I picked up a couple players that I coach now, and just because I want to see them win, and also to keep me tied into that space and know what's going on. But
sure.
From an official standpoint, like right now, they kind of got to get that $1 million.
So that's interesting. So let's talk about the math. I'm all about the math.
Okay.
Right. So when you say these guys are getting, because I know they're getting ridiculous views, millions of views, right? And you come from a marketing, branding perspective, right? Have you helped do product placement for these gamers? And have you set it up where they are able to benefit and you're able to benefit? So even though you're not necessarily an agent, but the fact of you being having that marketing background to be able to be that intermediary or the person connecting the dots, have you looked into that?
Yes. So from a product placement standpoint, we've definitely been able to make that happen for a few gamers. One of the challenges that I had to learn to overcome was that it all makes sense to me, like from a branding standpoint, but it's still a lot of education that has to go into the gamer side that they might not tweet, they might not Instagram, they just game. So to get them trained to change your mindset, like post it, like wherever you at, whatever you got going on, post it so you can get engagement. That's a little bit of buildup that's needed in order to accomplish that. But we've actually been able to get opportunities for gamers, whether you're getting merchandise, whether you're getting free meal plans, free accounts online to that you can spend with Amazon, etc.
Really?
Yes.
Really? All right. So we're getting ready to go on break, and at the end of the break, we're gonna talk about your what you guys discussed in the Synapse conference.
Okay.
And then more of your business model. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. Call in 813-444-9588.
So believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown 184-361-RIG. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RIG. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RIG. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, Tampa Bay. Want to cruise to Cuba? Tampa to Havana? We've got the best prices. Call Kinsey Travel, 863-274-3715. That's Kinsey Travel, 863-274-3715. Baby, let's cruise. Hi, this is Dr. Veronica Walters, also known as Dr. V, the head of school at the Walters Academy for Entrepreneurship, a place that we like to call The Way, where we're educating today's youthpreneurs to be tomorrow's billionaires through social entrepreneurship. Do you have a student who's bored, frustrated, gifted, inquisitive, creative, business-minded? Then maybe you need to check The Way out. Listen, we have an educational platform that allows for individualized instruction. It's strength-based, project-based, and designed to help your student become the absolute best they can while starting their own business and being an entrepreneur. If you're looking for something different and you need to find a more excellent way, then you need to visit us at The Way. That's The Way, www.thewaetampa.org. Or you can call us at 813-603-7923. We look forward to showing your student a more excellent way at The Way.
All right, we're back again. Power Moves with my man Derek from High Gamers. Once again, High Point Gamers. So when we talk about the business of esports and gaming, within our hood, right? A lot of times we know how to play the games, but we don't know how to play the money game in playing the game, right?
Right.
And so during the break, we were talking about how can anyone that's doing music get on an e-gaming platform?
Well, so from a music standpoint, what I advise my music artists that I have connects with is develop your own brand that shows that you already engage in the gaming space, meaning that set up a Twitch stream, you got Facebook gaming, you have YouTube gaming. Develop relationships within that industry with those that game and are already streaming. But you can send them a track like, hey, yo, well, next time you stream, bro, here, play my music in the background, or do a review of my video live on your stream. So that's one way to get exposure from the music side in the gaming world. Next is a lot of these games, they have music. They need music, and they need to fill it, and they know that rap music is a big part of music, and we need it inside the game. So there's a lot of independent artists that are getting checks from video games that you don't even know. You'll never go to their concert. You'll never go to their Instagram or anything, but they living nice off of developing a song for Madden or NBA Street or something, you know.
Absolutely. And so I think one of the key points you mentioned is, with e-gaming, it's making sure that you are actively involved in the virtual world.
Yes, because it's a community. Gaming is a community.
It's like the next block.
Yes, it is. It is.
Right? So, you could have your regular block that you go visit, or you want to go visit New York City, or you want to go visit LA, but then you also have to visit the virtual block.
The virtual block. I like that. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when you visit the virtual block, if we're going to keep it a little street, if you were slinging, you're slinging your music, and no one else is doing it, now you own the block. Right.
Yes,
so you got to introduce yourself. You got to immerse yourself in that industry. You got to understand that language.
You do.
Right.
And the benefit, unlike regular business, is that you have the game to introduce you. So if you're already playing video games, there's 1,000 people that play that game already.
Right.
There's 1,000 social media or brand influencers in the gaming world that play that game. So that's our commonality right there. You play 2K. I like using Golden State. Who you use, and boom,
and there it is. There it is. So when you were talking during the Synapse conference with the grandson of the DeVoe family in Orlando Magic,
shout out to Ryan
and Marcus Howard and the whole crew there, what was that experience like, and what information were you imparting that you can share with us today?
First of all, it was an awesome experience to be up there, especially with Ryan. I know we have a lot of interactions just from being in the 2K league in the beginning. Like we were talking about some of the challenges of having new gamers and being in the esports world or something new. So on that panel, we were kind of just giving a high level, because the room was full of business people and investors. So all they want to know about is numbers and
how to make the money.
How to make the money, right? So a lot of that conversation was just educating them on how esports makes money from a sponsorship standpoint, from a vendor standpoint, from a event standpoint, from a merchandise standpoint, from a streaming standpoint. Like there's a lot of avenues that you can tap into relating to esports.
Right.
And it's pretty easy to get going, because 51% of households own a dedicated gaming system. So that'll let you know that, brother, they out there.
Right. It's just like, when people own TVs, right? And when the internet started up, with the cable industry and things of that nature, those were revenue models. And so what you talked about is the different revenue models. And once again, Power Moves is sponsored by Oxygen, which is the company by Juwan Howard, Fab 5 fame, as well as this excerpt is also sponsored by the Smile Experiment, serving single mothers and living elegantly, which, a lot of time they got their little boys and girls gaming big time. So, bottom line, what tips can you share with these single moms that they can help their child make this money in this industry?
So, some of my consulting is with parents that like, I don't like my kids gaming. Like they addicted. It's too much. And I put perspective on it this way, that if your child is going to do it, and they're like say 22 hours a week of already doing it, there's kids that are paying their parents mortgages every month off of what they're doing on gaming, by streaming, by the views they get and the subscriptions they get off of Twitch. In the minority community, we aren't doing that, because in the privileged community, they already have high-speed Wi-Fi. So they online and they're creating content for YouTube. They're creating content for Facebook. They're doing multiplayer, which means they're connecting with other people outside of the area. If you don't have internet and stuff in your house, your child is probably playing 2K and Madden, because I don't need that stuff, but I'm playing with my homeboy that come. But that doesn't open me up to the money-making opportunities that's available. You need that internet in the house so that your child can start making content, can start getting out there and producing content to get exposure and build a brand, because they can do it now. They don't need to wait till, they go off and go to college, or they go off and get grown. You can have 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds sitting there making content and generating income and building a brand while you're up under your mom's house, while you're already spending the hours and time. So I've always encouraged parents, like if you have a child that is interested in gaming or spends a lot of time in gaming, encourage it by putting some focus behind it. And that's why I encourage them to pair with us, where we can put focus behind it, where it's like, okay, you don't understand it, but hey, we can give them some direction into how, like, this is how you make a stream, this is how you should be posting, this is how you should be playing, this type of content is what you need to be talking about, your personality leans towards this way, or etc.
Wow. So in other words, so for the parents that are getting ready to buy the next generation Xbox, next generation PS, whatever, et cetera, if they, so it sounds like to me, now this is my business mind coming in.
Okay.
It sounds like to me that instead, before they buy that for Christmas, that they should probably set up a family business.
Yes. You're already with me, man. That's what
set up a family business, and then you buy the equipment because the equipment is your cost.
Hey.
My G, right?
Yes.
And then now the kid could be the CEO of the business, and now you're teaching them how to monetize, and now the parent is not stressed out because you know what? If the kid is sick, you're like, yo, just keep playing that game, honey. I'm calling in. I'm calling off of work today. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes. So my rule is usually if you're going to spend at least $160 a year on gaming, whether it's buying games, buying accessories, internet, etc., go ahead and make the LLC. So then you can write off that stuff and get the tax write-offs and the benefit of those things that you're going to buy anyway.
Right. I mean, that's huge. And they get to write it off as a home office. I mean, there's so many advantages.
Yes.
So that's why the gaming industry is so important. And with the internet that they have to use, that's also
a part of the cost. Right?
Wow. So where can we, let's see, how are we doing on time?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. So with 2 minutes, you need to share with the audience, where can we find you?
Okay.
Internet, phone number, do we need, I think we're going to need to do our own little virtual panel specific to our underserved community so that they could really make this power move.
For sure. Make that power move.
So go ahead, man. Share the information.
My website is highpointgamer.com, all one word, High Point Gamer. You can find me on all social medias under High Point Gamer. And if you're a gamer, my gamer tag is High Point Gamer. Reach out to me, info@highpointgamer. If you're just interested in figuring out how you can learn more, how you can get your kids to learn more and monetize what they're doing, or if you want to participate in the esports world, you have some skills and talent that you feel like the industry could use. Hey, we always put on events, especially in the community, and we always can use some help.
When is the next event? I know of the one on Microsoft. Is there one before that, or are we going to promote the one on Microsoft March 2nd?
We're going to promote the one on March 2nd.
All right, March 2nd. So this is the deal. I need pastors. I need community leaders. I need everyone to make sure you go to the Microsoft store at International Mall March 2nd. What time?
March 2nd. We're going to be there all day, man. So you can get there from 11 to like 4.
11 to 4 p.m. We'll have some, I think there's supposed to be some food possibly.
We're going to have some food.
We're going to have some food. Kids can come in and get their gaming on because it's complimentary, correct?
Yes. Yes. So in order to compete, right, there is an entry fee for competing because it's a Iron Man tournament where we're going to have gamers compete in different genres of games to see which one is the best gamer across multiple disciplines.
Okay.
But the spectate is free. You can come in and check it out. Right now, the registration is $30 per person.
So registration for a person that's going to be competitive is $30 a person. So it doesn't matter if you're coming in from Georgia, California, Istanbul. It don't matter. Just come on in and join us. And the winning prize
the winning prize right now, we're up to $2,000 for the prize.
2 G's, baby. 2 G's with the Iron Man. So once again, check out my man Derek from High Point Gamers. He just let you know all the different handles. High Point Gamer, you'll find him. Just Google him.
All right, man. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show, man.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for all the insight. And we're going to work together to get our community to turn into small businesses, all right?
Boom.
Once again, Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you next week. Baby, baby.
Much pride.